The Blackberry Playbook versus the Apple iPad 2. Now that Apple's officially announced their iPad 2, I thought I'd put together this short video just to see how it stacks up against some of the competitors, and in this video we'll be looking at it versus the Blackberry Playbook. So let's jump in and get started. As far as operating systems go, the iPad 2 is running Apple iOS 4.3, whereas the Blackberry Playbook is running QNX, also called the Blackberry Tablet OS. So this is a new operating system they put together from a company they acquired last year. And it's pretty cool. It's got some nice features. Definitely don't know a whole lot about it since it's really not been out in the wild yet to use and play with. As far as display goes, the Playbook's quite a bit smaller, coming in with a 7-inch screen and a 1024x600 resolution. As far as the iPad 2 goes, has the same resolution and screen size as the original iPad, a 9.7-inch screen with a 1024x768 resolution. One thing to note is that the Playbook does have a higher pixel density at 182 versus 132 for the iPad. As far as cameras go, the Playbook has some decent cameras, a 5-megapixel rear camera and a 3-megapixel front camera for video chat, whereas the iPad 2, not so much. VGA front camera for chatting with FaceTime and things. It's enough, it's all you need, but the rear camera is pretty disappointing. It'll do 720p HD video, but as far as megapixels go, it's not very good. It's under a megapixel, so they're clearly thinking you're not going to really be using it for taking many pictures. As far as processors go, the Playbook has a dual-core 1GHz Ti OMAP processor, so it's plenty fast, as is the iPad 2 with a dual-core 1GHz processor, the Apple A5 chip, so both have really fast processors. As far as battery life goes, they're estimating 8 hours for the Playbook with video playback. I've seen some estimates saying up to 17 hours if you don't do any video, but the iPad 2 is rated for about 10 hours, although most people will get more out of it because they're not going to be playing videos back all the time either. So expect to get more battery life out of the iPad 2 actually. As far as RAM goes, the iPad 2 does have an upgrade versus the original one, and it definitely needed it. It has 512 megs of RAM, but the Playbook definitely wins in that category with a full gig of RAM. As far as storage goes, identical here, you get 3 varieties, 16, 32, or 64 gigabytes. As far as connectivity goes, you get 3G Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and 4G versions later in 2011 with the Playbook, and the iPad 2, 3G Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, but sorry, no 4G. So you'll have to wait for the iPad 3 if you really want the iPad to have 4G connectivity. As far as weight goes, the Playbook's lighter, of course it should be because it's quite a bit smaller, 14.4 ounces for the Wi-Fi version versus 21.3 ounces or 1.33 pounds for the Wi-Fi version of the iPad 2. And a few miscellaneous things here. You get an accelerometer, GPS, and possibly some other unannounced sensors with the Playbook. We don't know for sure yet. And the iPad 2 comes with a gyroscope, which is going to be nice for gaming. GPS on the 3G version, just keep in mind, no GPS on the Wi-Fi only version. But they all come with that accelerometer. There's 65,000 apps, which is 65,000 iPad apps actually. There's quite a few more apps that you can use because you can use all the App Market ones on it. An ambient light sensor, and the cool nifty little smart covers. If you haven't heard about those yet, just Google it or search YouTube for it. You'll find a cool little demo video of smart covers there. They're pretty neat. So there you have it. That's the Blackberry Playbook versus the iPad 2. As always, be sure to come check us out at gpsmaestro.com for all your GPS and cell phone needs. And I want to thank you for watching. Be sure to post in the comments if you have something to say, and I'll see you next time.